All right, so this Saturday, Luke Rockhold, my old friend, my old nemesis, the old owner of the UFC Middleweight Championship of the world.
I'm a fucking samurai.
He's stepping into the Misfits Boxing ring going up against Darren Till. Now, leading up to this one, these two have been talking a lot of shit. They've done some face-to-face, they did some press conferences. Luke Rockhold was trying to use a ton of British slang, just like he did at my press conference, calling me
just an average bloke
and stuff like that, calling Darren Till a mate. And
you don't hit hard.
Oh, mate. You
don't.
He's got the dyed blonde hair and he's going a little bit cringe because that's just what Luke Rockhold does, okay? Leave the talk and the trash talk to Darren Till. You're never going to win that against Darren Till. He's a scouser. Scousers are some of the funniest, quickest witted bastards on planet Earth. It's just as simple as that. And then on top of it, Darren Till's a tremendous fighter. Now, they're both pointing the finger at one another. They're both accusing things of one another. Darren Till accuses Luke Rockhold of being on steroids.
Lee, get me some juice steroids.
It's not juice, you dumb
No, because I wouldn't know what it is, but you're on it.
The reality is, Darren Rockhold's not on steroids, right? The reality is, the man could have done whatever sport he chose. He's a ridiculously talented athlete. He's a high-level surfer. He's a high-level skateboarder. He's a world champion mixed martial artist. And now, of course, on Saturday, he's going to be a boxer against Darren Till. Now, of course, he was a bare-knuckle boxer and quit against Mike Perry. And, of course, Darren Till brought that up and questioned him about it. To be fair, Mike Perry smashed the geezer's teeth in.
Those little knuckles got me. Square on the front, too. Motherfucker Mike, you tough bastard. Congrats.
Okay, all these bottom teeth were all smashed up and mangled and all the rest of it. To be honest, in a bare knuckle fight, it's time to be smart. That might be one of the smartest things that Luke Rockhold's ever done, to call time on that. When all your teeth are mangled in, it's like, okay, stop. All right, this is over. This fight's over. My teeth are literally all smashed into pieces. What else was said? I got a few notes here. Darren Till says that he's old and that he's frail. Okay, as well as being on steroids.
I got off the plane last night.
Your life, your body's frail.
You'll see.
I'm fresh.
You can
strong.
believe that. You believe that.
And you're on the juice.
You believe that.
And you're on the steroids.
No, everybody from your camp is on the steroids.
As I said, Rockhold's just a freak. He's just a freakish athlete. He really is. He's got a very tall, long, slender frame. So he's always going to look kind of ripped. And he does live in the gym. He's always training. But I don't think he's on steroids. I don't think he's ever taken steroids in his life. Now, Darren Till says that he was technical and brilliant back in the day. He was an awesome champion, but he's got no balls and that he runs away in fights.
You were brilliant in Strikeforce UFC at the start. You were fantastic, but you were technical. You've got no, you haven't really got any balls and you've got no power.
Listen, I knocked him out. Jan Blachowicz knocked him out. Yoel Romero knocked him out. And then he lost to get to Paulo Costa. In that fight against Paulo Costa, I thought he showed some balls. That was a fight that he could be proud of. That was a fight where he really bit down on the mouthpiece and showed the world what he's made of, you know. When you get knocked out, you can't accuse someone of having no balls. When you get knocked out and you get clipped, that's it. You get dropped. It's not about having balls. You can have balls when you're losing a fight and you get dominated and you got to work your way back to the feet, or you take a really tough round. Like, for example, I did against Anderson Silva in round 3 when he hit me with a flying knee and my face is all broken and splattered open with blood. Then you come back in the next round and you win and you bite down on your mouthpiece and you fight your arse out. That's about having balls. When you get knocked out, you can't accuse someone of having no balls. You just got caught, just like Darren Till did against Jorge Masvidal. Of course, Rockhold brought that one up, and Darren Till said that Masvidal turned him down for this. Darren Till also said that Nate Diaz kind of messed him around and turned him down in this fight as well, and that's how eventually he settled on Luke Rockhold. Now, the fight with Masvidal, I was there, I was in the building. It's the night that I was inducted into the Hall of Fame. When Jorge Masvidal connected with Darren Till, that silenced the entire O2 arena. 20,000 people couldn't believe what they just saw. Masvidal knocked him out cold in a beautiful sequence. It was like a little stutter step, steps over the top with the left hand, drops him, knocks him out, a couple of vicious follow-up shots. And ever since then, Darren Till has always wanted to fight him again. That's why he wanted to fight him again in Misfits. And he says that'll never happen again and he'll get him back. And to be fair, every single fight is different. Okay, look, when I fought Rockhold the first time, he got me. When I fought him the second time, I knocked him out. And that was partly because he's a little bit arrogant. It's mainly because every single fight is different. And of course, it was partly because his chin is high in the air. And that's another thing that Darren says about Luke. And that's what Luke says about Darren.
He's always got his mouth open and his chin in the air. But
you haven't. You haven't.
Shut your fucking ass up and wait your turn, mate.
Okay, they're both coming into this one extremely confident, right? Very, very confident. I'm just looking here. I'm just trying to see whatever the notes I've got. Darren Till says that he's a master on the feet. He talked about when he fought Dricus du Plessis and he was kind of dominating him on the feet.
You ran away from the hardest sport in the world in the prime of your life.
Well, who's the champion now, Dricus? I battered him. Battered him.
He broke you like a...
broke me.
To be fair, when it was on the feet, he was in control and Dricus had to take him down and submit him, kind of like Hamzat Chimaev did to him, and just dominate him for 25 minutes. But they're about the biggest takeaway. So let's talk about the fight. Let's talk about who I think wins this and why. First of all, it's a tricky one because Darren Till's a good mate of mine and I wish him all the best in his endeavours. And I always want friends to win fights. It's going to suck though if he beats Rockhold because it's like, it takes away a little bit from me because obviously I beat him to become the champion. And then if Darren Till goes out there and knocks him out, even though it was 10 years ago, which is almost a decade ago, which is a very long time, that is donkey years. That's like a millennium in fight ages. And certainly when you get into the end of your career, like Luke Rockhold is, okay? It's a long time, almost a decade. But Darren Till is a better boxer. Luke Rockhold, in mixed martial arts, has got an excellent left kick. That's his main weapon. That body kick, the question mark kick, the head kick, that left leg is one of his best weapons. He's got a very good top game as well. When he gets on top of you on the ground, the top game is ridiculous. Look at what he did to Lyoto Machida. But all of these are taken away. Now, on top of that, he's tall, he's longer. So he is the taller, longer guy, but Darren Till's not much shorter. He's a little bit shorter, and he's also a southpaw as well. Now, Darren Till's a good Thai boxer, so he's removed all the kicks, the knees, and the elbows, but the punches are still there. And one of Darren's main weapons is that left hand. Luke Rockhold's got a left hand, of course he does. And yeah, he's been training with Jason Perillo, my old boxing coach now, for a number of years. So therefore, his boxing will have improved. But has it improved enough to take on Darren Till? And he was widely and highly regarded as one of the best Thai boxers to come out of England. And I'll say that the level of Muay Thai in the UK is probably the best in the world. If you don't know about Muay Thai, you probably think I'm talking out my ass. If you're sitting there as an American or from other country, you'll say I'm talking out of your ass. But look at Khalil Roundtree. Where does he train his Muay Thai? He goes over to England. We have the best Muay Thai on the planet. And Darren Till was like an incredible Muay Thai fighter. But again, all of that's gone. This just comes down to boxing. Darren Till's the younger guy. Will he knock out Luke Rockhold? I don't know. I don't know if he knocks out Luke Rockhold. There is a good possibility. However, he couldn't knock out Darren Stewart. The last fight that he had in boxing was against Darren Stewart, the dentist, who also used to fight in the UFC. And it looked like he was going to take him out of there in the first round. Wobbled him in the first round, stumbled him in the second, kind of wobbled him in the third as well. But then the longer the fight went on, it seemed like Darren lost a little bit of steam and Darren Stewart just either, because Darren Till was getting tired or because Darren Stewart is just that bloody tough and figured out a game plan to back him up, to push him on the ropes and just like out-tough him and dirty boxing, and kind of came back into it and made it a fun, exciting fight. Although he was nearly finished, if I remember rightly, in the final bell. But it was a fun fight and Darren Till won that one. But Darren Till didn't knock him out. Will he knock out Luke Rockhold? There's definitely a possibility that Darren Till knocks him out. Okay, there just is. He's been knocked out a few times, but Luke Rockhold has taken some time away. Now, neither man really cares about being the Misfits champion. Apparently, there is a belt on the line here. They both want to be a UFC champion, and Luke has done that. He's been a UFC champ. He's been a Strikeforce champ. I don't think Darren Till gives two fucks about being the Misfit champ, but he does care about winning this fight. It's more important than any belt. It's bragging rights. It's the ego of the man. And of course, claiming the payday and claiming the money and putting that massive check into your bank balance on Monday morning. That's what it's all about. The prize fighters. And therefore, if you want to get the biggest prize, you're going to be the best fighter. And that's why you work your goddamn ass off. If you want to get the biggest payday, you're going to be the best prize fighter. And to do that, you're going to be the best fighter possible. That's why they all work their asses off. No one here gives a shit about the Misfits boxing title. Maybe I'm wrong, but the fact that they got Tony Ferguson versus Salt Papi as the co-main event, and fair play, Salt Papi by all accounts, I don't know this guy, but we were talking about him on my podcast. Apparently he used to be like kind of fat and pudgy, and now he's in shape and looks really good, and apparently the boxing's pretty good. And Tony Ferguson, as we know, Tony Ferguson's been around forever and lost like his last 9 in the UFC. I hope Tony Ferguson goes out there and gets the job done, but I don't think boxing's ever been the biggest strength of Tony Ferguson. And when you talk about someone that's maybe past his best days, that certainly applies to Tony Ferguson. Does it apply to Luke Rockhold? Of course. The man's 40 years old. It was almost a decade since he was the UFC middleweight champion of the world. So to answer your question, I do think Darren Till gets the victory. I think he goes out there. I think Luke Rockhold has some moments, but if you back up Luke Rockhold, if you take away that length and that range that he has and don't allow him to like keep you at bay, then that's a problem. That's how I knocked him out, by going forward, getting on the inside and landing that left hook. If I could land the left hook, then my God, so can Darren Till. Because yeah, I'm left-handed and I'm an orthodox southpaw fighter. However, Darren Till's left hand is absolute dynamite. So yeah, I think to answer my question and your question and to just mull it out over the course of this video, I think Darren Till goes out there and probably gets the knockout. Might even be in the first round. But I tell you what, may the best man win. I wish Luke Rockhold nothing but the best. I've got nothing against this man. I actually think he's a solid human being. I got to hang out with him a bit down at the gym with Cheeto Vera and Jason Perillo last time. After the training session, we went out for coffee. We shot the shit. We had some laughs. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. We were just competing at the same time and we both wanted to be victorious. And yeah, I was talking a bit of shit back in the day. He was talking a bit of shit. That's what we do. We're trying to sell fights. But when that's all out the window, the man's a good human being and he's just trying to live his life the best way he can by using these things to make a living. And so is Darren Till. I'm friends with them both. Darren Till, I'm closer with Darren Till than I am for Luke. May the best man win, but my official prediction, I'll say Luke Rockhold gets knocked out by Darren Till, probably rounds 2 or 3. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Please subscribe and ring the bell. I'm tired. I just got back from China. I'm very, very jet lagged. I think it kicked in halfway through this video. So if I repeated myself a couple of times, I apologize. I'm going to go and take a nap. You guys take care. Thank you for watching. See you soon.